want. Like, oh, you're actually supposed to bend your knees when you shoot. You're actually supposed to jump. And they look at you like, wow, you're like so good. You know? That's nice. That's rewarding.
Right. That they appreciate the level you've been at and that you,
And I was showing them some film. We're running a 1-3-1 because, like, as much as we can steal the ball and just get a wide open layup, the better we're gonna be. You can't really set up an offense, right? We don't know how to do that. So I was showing them film of the St. Francis girls doing it. Right there.
the Flyers of Lewis University and your Fighting Saints. As always, prior to the introductions of tonight's starting lineups, we ask that you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
We're live in Joliet, Illinois, the home of the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints, and ready to get this one started. The Saints against the Lewis Flyers tonight in a non-conference matchup for St. Francis. The annual rivalry resumes between the Saints and the Flyers. These two schools, just about 10 minutes apart, do battle every year except for last season amidst all of the COVID mishigas. Nothing scheduled between these two teams a year ago. So today they resume their rivalry. St. Francis looking for their first win over Lewis in 5 years. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call of today's game as the Saints take the floor in gold. The Flyers are in red, and at center court it's Lily Courier of Lewis and Jordan Pyle of St. Francis for the opening tip. Dueling number 33s, and it is won by the Fighting Saints. They take the first possession going from right to left. Lewis, of course, will be going from left to right for the first 20 minutes of today's action. Palin C.S. Cheney at the point for the Saints. Kicks it into the corner for Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel drives, throws one up and misses. And the rebound goes to Lewis, who comes up with a stop. on their first defensive possession of the game. Now the Flyers take their first chance with the ball. Stephanie Hart, Catherine Schmidt, Lily Courier, Grace Hilber, and Shaunton Brown are the 5 starters for Matt Nelson's team. Nelson, in his first season with the Flyers, gets his first head coaching assignment in this long-time rivalry. Here's a pull-up jumper from the baseline. Good for Grace Hilber, the leading scorer this season for Lewis. She came in averaging 15 points per game, and she's got the first 2 tonight on the first possession for the Flyers. Just about a minute in, Jordan Pyle tries to answer. She turns her back to the basket. Turnaround jumper misses from close range. And another rebound for the Flyers as the Saints go one and done for the second straight possession. Hilber thought about the three, passes inside instead to Catherine Schmidt, and Schmidt finishes at the rim. Very productive start for the Flyers as they score on their first 2 trips down the floor and take a 4-point lead over St. Francis. Both of these teams are coming off of big victories their last time out over the weekend. St. Francis put up over 100 points for the first time in half a decade as Sandriana Acosta misses on the turnaround. Today, the same scoring touch has not been there, at least early on in the first minute 40. They are 0 of 3 from the field. Catherine Schmidt picks up her dribble and passes to her left. Here's Hilber. She fakes the 3, drives on C.S. Cheney, and bounces outside. Stephanie Hart picked up by Jordan Pyle, throws to her left. Hilber drives, left-handed layup, no good. Rebound into the hands of Kaylin C.S. Cheney. The senior point guard runs the floor for St. Francis all the way down to the baseline and slowed down by Shaunton Brown. She passes back outside as the Saints set it up from the top. Shadrian McDaniel on the drive, finishes with a bucket off the glass. Nice move by Shadrian McDaniel, and the Saints are on the board for the first time. McDaniel, the senior guard slash forward for St. Francis, averages just under 10 points per game. She's the first to get them on the board tonight. Catherine Schmidt trying to answer quickly, misses on the layup, but grabs her own rebound and draws the foul going back up. Schmidt heads to the free throw line for 2 shots. Offensive rebound there for Catherine Schmidt, who came into play today with a team-high 6.5 rebounds per game. She's an 80% foul shooter, and she hits the first one here. Rebounding has been an issue for Lewis throughout this season. So far today, though, they have been very good in that regard, grabbing every defensive rebound, and an offensive board leads to the second chance free throws right there. So 2 points on the board off the offensive rebound, 4 points in the game for Schmidt, and the Saints break the press with ease. Jordan Pyle gets inside the three-point arc and has it stripped by Grace Hilber. Hilber pulls up just inside the free throw line and knocks down the jumper. 4 points for Hilber as Kaylin C.S. Cheney falls to the ground, and we've got a held ball. She lost her footing, kept the dribble, and that allows St. Francis to keep possession. Lewis possession. St. Francis won the tip. So on the possession arrow, it is Flyers basketball as they force the turnover and try to pull away to a big early lead. Inside Schmidt, wide open layup. And a timeout called by John McGinty. Catherine Schmidt had a huge mismatch underneath, being guarded by the much smaller Kaylin C.S. Cheney. The Flyers recognized it, got her the ball, and an easy layup for Schmidt, who's already got 6 points tonight. Lewis off to a dominant start. They lead 10-2, 4 of 6 from the field so far. The Fighting Saints have made just 1 of their first 4 attempts, and they've been out-rebounded thus far, 4-1. I mentioned the rebounding issue. Lewis has been out-rebounded by about 6.5 per game on the season, whereas St. Francis has been very good in that category. They're averaging 5 more rebounds per game than their opponents, but this is an NAIA school against Division II. Lewis coming in at 2-6 overall. Not a lot of height on this Lewis team by D2 standards, but they're a little bit more well-sized going up against NAIA competition. And they have shown that early on, not just the size, but the positioning down low. They have dominated the early glass. St. Francis has been very much out of sorts to start things off today. The Saints coming off of a season-high 106 points in their last game on Saturday, a blowout win over Lincoln. And I mentioned before, it was the highest point total in nearly 5 years for St. Francis. That's also the last time they beat Lewis 5 years ago. Not a 100-point game that night. Jordan Pyle's pass deflected out of bounds by Schmidt. It stays with the Saints. Lewis's defense has looked awfully good so far. Quick hands right there. Sets up the Saints from the corner. C.S. Cheney lobs it in for Acosta. I think that's the first touch of the game for the leading scorer, Andriana Acosta. Jordan Pyle inside. Nice move to the basket, and she lays it up and in. Beautiful play in the post for Jordan Pyle. Her first points, and the Saints are able to get a basket out of the timeout, cut the deficit to 6. Stephanie Hart picked up by Justine Charlesworth. Passes off to the left side. Up top it's Schmidt. Schmidt pulls up at the free throw line, kicks back out. Good ball movement here by Lewis as Grace Hilbert possesses with under 10 to shoot. Schmidt, jumper is good. Catherine Schmidt off to a strong start today. 6 points for Schmidt, who came in averaging 14.5 per game. That one kind of an awkward looking jumper. She had a good look at the basket though and was able to knock it down. Again, an 8-point lead. Here's Jordan Pyle across the timeline for the Saints. Pyle drives with the left hand, pull up in the lane, turn around, does not get the roll. And the rebound once again goes to Lewis as Schmidt battles Acosta for it. Shanton Brown on the outside lobs it in, and Kaylin C.S. Cheney this time is able to come up with a steal on Courier. C.S. Cheney takes it all the way down, misses the layup. Acosta, put back is good. First offensive rebound of the game for the Fighting Saints. And Andriana Acosta turns it into 2 points. Set up by the steal and drive by Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Here's Schmidt again, knocking down another open jumper. 8 points for Catherine Schmidt. That's the difference in the ball game so far. C.S. Cheney tries to slow it down, throws it between the legs of Jordan Pyle, and the loose ball is secured by Lily Courier. Sloppy turnover by the Fighting Saints. Shanton Brown works her way inside, banks it in, and gives Lewis their biggest lead of this first quarter, a 10-point game, 5 minutes in. Great start for the Flyers, who are coming off of their best game of the season. Justine Charlesworth bounces into Andriana Acosta. Acosta from the baseline, turnaround jumper is good. Nice work by Acosta right there. The Saints are starting to click offensively. Now they need to come up with a few stops. It doesn't come here. Grace Hilbert drives in and quickly hits a jumper. Lewis is hitting everything they've put up there tonight. 8 of 10 from the field. Here's Kaylin C.S. Cheney for the Fighting Saints around the screen from Acosta. She gives it off to McDaniel. To Jordan Pyle, pass deflected out of bounds by Schmidt. Substitutions for both sides. Georgia Bolton is in for Jordan Pyle on the Fighting Saints side. Couple of new players on for Lewis as well. Tara Galuza is in. I think they made one other substitution as well. I'll get that one for you in just a second. Kaylin C.S. Cheney double team. C.S. Cheney circles the defense, gets into the lane, and floats it up off the glass and in. Nice job by Kaylin C.S. Cheney right there. Amelia Motz is the other new Flyer on the floor. Shanton Brown nearly throws it away, but Motz chases it down just in front of the half-court stripe. Inside, Schmidt wide open, hits another one. 10 points already for Catherine Schmidt, and they've been an easy 10. That time unchecked in the paint. Lewis is doubling up St. Francis early here. This is Justine Charlesworth, top of the key, bounces it over to Acosta. Andriana Acosta, jumper in the face of Amelia Motz is good. Acosta starting to turn it on for St. Francis. She's been good when she's gotten the touches. Went a long time earlier in the game without receiving a pass as Motz misses on the shot. Acosta grabs the rebound. Saints trail by 8 with the ball, approaching the 3-minute mark of the first quarter. Kaylin C.S. Cheney picked up by Brown, dribbles off to the left and passes to Justine Charlesworth. No attempts yet from the field for Charlesworth. Acosta, nice move to free herself up, but misses the close-range shot. Nice work on the boards, though, for Acosta. She tips it outside, and the Saints keep it alive. McDaniel misses the shot, and in the battle for the rebound, a tie-up. Possession arrow faces St. Francis. So Adriana Acosta is turning it on now. She battled for that rebound. She's got 4 of them in the game. 6 points scored for Acosta to lead the Fighting Saints. Pyle is back in for Charlesworth, who tied a school record with 8 3-pointers on Saturday. Off to a slow start tonight. Knocked out of bounds by Lewis on the inbounds play. The Saints will try it again, this time from the sideline with 19 seconds on the shot clock. 2:45 to play first quarter. Saints have trailed throughout, trying to come back a little bit here late in the period as Kaylin C.S. Cheney kicks it into the corner for Georgia Bolton. Bolton dribbles inside, back out to C.S. Cheney. On the right, it's Pyle. Pyle drives by 2 defenders and lays it in. Good drive, Jordan Pyle. Blew by 2 Flyers there and got herself to the basket. It's just a 6-point game now as the Saints have scored the last 4. Amelia Motz kicks it outside, back into Schmidt. She's been unstoppable so far today. This time she throws it away, loose ball, knocked out of bounds by Shadrian McDaniel. Good defense there by the Saints, but the Flyers will retain possession. They have not had too many empty trips down the floor so far, as Grace Hilber, part of the reason why, checks back in. Hilber is the inbounder. Lobs it in for Amelia Motz up top. Motz drives to the left side, kicks it into the corner. Stephanie Hart, wide open look, got the 3. First 3-pointer of the game, first 3-point attempt of the game for either team. And Stephanie Hart, an excellent shooter, left far too open there. An easy basket for her. 9-point lead for the Flyers. Acosta working inside, kicks it out to Pyle. She tries a 3. No success on the Saints side, and the rebound goes to Tara Galuza, the freshman from Lincoln Way West High School. A 3-point attempt for Hilber, misses a little bit long. The rebound to McDaniel, but another good look for Lewis. Hilber was wide open after that pass. Shadrian McDaniel gets inside the perimeter. Dishes it off to Acosta. Good ball movement around the perimeter, but travel is called against Jordan Pyle with 1:19 to play in the first. 9-point lead for Lewis. They take the ball back as Justine Charlesworth returns to action for Shadrian McDaniel. Amari Sims comes on as well. And Acosta gets a rest. Acosta off to a good start today. 3 of 5 from the field for 6 points and 4 rebounds. Saints will make do without her for a few minutes here. Courier finds an open Hilber inside and in out of her hand. She kicks it out to the shooter. 3-pointer rims out from Galuza. And C.S. Cheney takes it the other way. Kaylin C.S. Cheney out to Charlesworth. There's her first field goal attempt, and it goes. Justine Charlesworth for 3. I mentioned she tied a school record with 8 made 3-pointers on Saturday. She has been dynamite from beyond the arc all year, 44%. And she gets the Saints back in it with a big 3 right there. Final minute of the first quarter. Amelia Motz throws it outside. Lily Courier tries to answer with a 3. It's an air ball. And Jordan Pyle can't secure the rebound as she knocks it out of bounds. 9 seconds on the shot clock. It did not reset after the air ball. Inbounded to Motz. Shot clock is down to 5. I'm not sure she knows it. She's taking her time. She kicks it out to Hilber. Hilber, pull-up jumper with the shot clock expiring. Misses off the front iron. And the rebound goes to Charlesworth. The shot clock is off for the Saints. They'll try to take the last shot of the first quarter here. Outplayed for most of the quarter. They've got a chance to turn this into a 3 or 4 point game going into our first break. Charlesworth over to Georgia Bolton. Bolton with 4 seconds finds a wide open Jordan Pyle. 3-pointer misses short. Bolton rebounds. Second chance, no good. And we've reached the end of the first period. A quick moving first quarter. And a good one for the Lewis Flyers. The visitors come in, dominate early on. A couple of big shots for the Saints late in the quarter. Bring them back to within 6. And they trail 23-17 at the end of 1. Fighting Saints shot 8 of 18 from the field in the first quarter, and offensively I think played pretty well. 17 points. They'll take that most of the time in the first. They average to score 71 points per game on the season, so they're right around their seasonal average for a quarter of play, but the defense wasn't there for John McGinsey's squad in the first period. Lewis 10 of 17 from the field. They turned it over only once, and the Saints were able to get back into the game largely because they got going on the offensive glass as the quarter went on. Lewis dominated the rebounding game for the first 5 minutes, but after that, St. Francis took over. They ended up grabbing 5 offensive rebounds in the first period, largely a result of the work of Andriana Acosta, who leads the team with 6 points and 4 rebounds so far. Saints grabbed 9 of the last 12 rebounds in that quarter. Catherine Schmidt, the big player in the period, 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting. She leads Lewis with 4 rebounds. Great start for Catherine Schmidt. Schmidt, a sophomore from Hampshire, Illinois. She's the inbounder as we start the second quarter. Into the backcourt to Stephanie Hart, and we're underway in the second. Lewis trying to build on a 6-point lead. It's been as many as 10. Johnson Brown back over to Stephanie Hart. Hart gets the screen from Schmidt. Back to Brown. Inside, Courier blocked by Jordan Pyle. Knocked out of bounds by Pyle. Great defense, though, by the senior from Australia. The Saints go to the bench. Shadre McDaniel back in. Hannah Swiatek on for the first time. C.S. Cheney and Bolton sit down for a few moments. Good defense by the Saints. Lewis struggling to get it in. Finally, they find Courier up top. Brown walks it around to the right. Now to the free throw line. This is Schmidt. Step back jumper. No good. Just her second miss of the game. And the rebound goes to Courier with the shot clock resetting to 20. Schmidt picks up her dribble, looking for help, finds Brown on the outside. Shot clock is once again under 10. Heaved across court, this is Hilber. Hilber against Swiatek, pull-up jumper, no good, rebound Acosta. Flyers used up 50 seconds on that possession, but could not find any points at the end of it. Here's Jordan Pyle on the drive, misses the runner, rebound tapped out, but secured by Stephanie Hart. Bodies all over the floor on that rebound. And so Hart waits for her teammates, at least one of them, to rejoin play before starting things off. Brown fires a 3 and misses, and the long rebound goes out to McDaniel. The Flyers moved actually pretty quickly on that possession, despite the fact they were playing 3-on-4. 2 Flyers were down on the ground on the other side. And they just kind of went. Here's Acosta going herself, and she goes to the free throw line as she misses the runner off the backboard, but gets fouled in the process. First foul on Lewis. And Acosta goes to the free throw line for the first time tonight. Really strong start tonight for Andriana Acosta, who's coming off of a rough stretch. Really has not shot the ball well the last 3 games. She shoots well from the free throw line here. 78% shooter for the season. She's 1 of 1 now tonight, and she can make this a 4-point game. As close as it's been in a while. Saints have gone on a 9-3 run here since they took a game-high 10-point deficit at 20-10. Georgia Bolton back in, pressing for the Saints. Trying to trap at half court, but Lewis is able to get past that. Up top and around to the left side. Brown fakes the 3 and shuffles her feet. Traveling violation called on Brown. And the Saints force a turnover. Lewis was firing on all cylinders offensively for the first 5 to 6 minutes, but they're struggling to get any good shots off right now. Credit to the St. Francis defense, not making anything easy on Lewis at the moment. And the Saints can make it a 1-possession game right here. Shadrian McDaniel holds it on the left. McDaniel backing in, kicks it out to Charlesworth. Her 3-point attempt rattles home. Justine Charlesworth 2 for 2 tonight. She stays hot from the field, and it's a 1-point game, 23-22. Timeout Lewis. They've got the lead, but it is a tenuous one. The Flyers outscored to start the quarter 5-0, and they have been outscored by St. Francis 12-3 over the last 5.5 minutes of game time. Nice run by St. Francis here after they looked outmatched early on. They are proving that not to be the case. They have shot the ball well today. Charlesworth 2 of 2 now from the outside. And Justine Charlesworth is really heating up. 44% on 3-pointers coming into play today. She's knocked down 2 more to tick that percentage up a bit. She's now 3rd on the team, averaging 11.5 points per game. The Saints apply a little pressure defensively. Lewis is able to get across half court. and set things up in the half-court game. This is Stephanie Hart. One dribble to the right. She gives it up to Catherine Schmidt. Hilber on the drive. Left side. Pull up and a whistle. That's a travel. Traveling violation on Hilber. That's already the third turnover in this second quarter, which is not even 2.5 minutes old yet. Lewis coughed it up just once in the first period. Lewis puts on the press. They were able to force one turnover earlier with this, but otherwise the Saints have been able to handle it. Inbounded to Kaylin C.S. Cheney, and the Flyers back off. C.S. Cheney walks it across the timeline and bounces to Jordan Pyle. Pyle works her way inside, gets it back out. C.S. Cheney down low to Acosta. Acosta turns to face the basket, kicks it up top to McDaniel. Shadrian McDaniel into the paint. Worked around the perimeter. Nice fake, Jordan Pyle. Pull-up jumper off the glass and in. Another great move, Jordan Pyle. She's having a good offensive game today. 6 points for her. And the Saints have their first lead of the night, 24-23. They were down by 10 points and have clawed their way back to a first-half advantage. Lewis completely out of sorts offensively so far in this second quarter. Three-pointer for Grace Hilber cannot end their long drought as the rebound bounces towards the sideline and goes to St. Francis. It has been 5.5 minutes now since the last time Lewis scored, a basket that put them ahead by 9, 23-14. Since then, the Saints have scored 10 in a row. C.S. Cheney tries to make it 13 straight, but she's too strong on the three, and the rebound tapped out of bounds. Looked like Jordan Pyle got it last. Possession to Lewis. The Saints are unable to extend their lead. Amari Sims and Georgia Bolton back in on defense here for St. Francis. Flyers work it back and forth and across half court. Nice job breaking the trap there. Three-pointer misses. Offensive rebound for Motts, but Acosta tries to rip the ball out of her hand and forces a tie-up. It's going the Saints' way. Lindsey Harrison is in the game for Lewis. First time we've seen the redshirt junior. 6 foot forward, and we've seen the size of Lewis in comparison to St. Francis today, but it has not benefited them lately in terms of rebounding. The Saints controlling that aspect of the game as Acosta's jumper knocks through, and that's now 8 points for Andriana Acosta. Sorry, 10 points now for Acosta after she made a couple of free throws a few minutes ago. It's a 12-0 run for the Fighting Saints. Here's Galuza outside. Three-point attempt for Hart, no good. Rebound tapped by Bolton. Knocked around, and Kaylin C.S. Cheney picks up the loose ball. Got a little bit ahead of herself, but did not lose it out of bounds. Bounced over to Acosta, knocked away, and it'll stay with the Saints. 24 on the shot clock. Just about 5.5 to play in the half. Charlesworth and McDaniel back in, and Swiatek as well. Shanton Brown back off the bench for Lewis. Georgia Bolton inbounds to McDaniel, right back to Bolton. Saints looking to add to a big run that they've been on. Bolton on the left. Working tough against Brown. Brown stops her dribble, and it's fired across court to Swiatek. Good drive. Swiatek to the basket, and the layup is good. First points of the game for the junior Swiatek. Junior out of Mother Macaulay High School. A couple of her former high school teammates play for Lewis. Neither have seen action tonight. Lindsey Harrison up top. Down low Schmidt. Schmidt's been the star of the game for Lewis, but cannot hit here. The drought continues for the Flyers. They have now gone nearly 8 minutes without scoring. Swiatek pass towards McDaniel is deflected out of bounds by Lindsey Harrison. That brings Jordan Pyle back onto the floor. During that 8-minute stretch in which Lewis has not scored, St. Francis has put 14 points on the board. They've got their biggest lead of the night at 5. Inbounded to Charlesworth, and we've got a held ball. Possession arrow going the other way. Shanton Brown forced the turnover there. Sims in for Bolton for the Saints. And Lewis will get another crack at ending that long drought. Parts is at the top. Lobbed in. A drive and a miss from Motts. Grabs her own rebound and scores on the second chance. Amelia Motts finally does end that drought and get Lewis on the board, snapping the 14-0 St. Francis run. Jordan Pyle is bumped by Motts, and a foul is called. First on Motts, just the second on Lewis. It's been a very clean game in terms of fouls. It's only the third one we've seen total in this game. We didn't see a single foul until about 11 minutes in. Kaylin C.S. Cheney from the baseline gets it into Jordan Pyle. Pyle passes to Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel drives with the left hand, fading away from the basket. Can't connect. Well defended there by Stephanie Hart. And that sets up possession for Lewis. Inside, Amelia Motts working against Acosta. Bounces to Schmidt, who's fouled. Catherine Schmidt will go to the free throw line. Schmidt, a lights-out free throw shooter, scored 12 points in the first quarter, including 2 from the line. Makes her second trip there right now. And misses on the first free throw. Just her 4th miss all season in 28 attempts. Just occurred to me, I just mentioned there were no fouls in the first 11 minutes, and then follow that up by saying Schmidt took 2 free throws in the first quarter. There was 1 foul early in the game, but just 1. Schmidt tries to get the steal after making the free throw, but the Saints were able to get it into C.S. Cheney. 5-point lead down to 2 for St. Francis. Jordan Pyle inside, kicks it out to C.S. Cheney. 3-pointer, in and out. Rebound to Motts. All of a sudden, St. Francis is struggling to score. They've gone 2 minutes without a bucket. Hilbert. Up top to Motts. Down to the corner, Harrison. Squared up to take the shot. Didn't take it. Shaunton Brown nearly had it stolen by Jordan Pyle. Lewis is able to keep possession, though. Schmidt from the corner gives Lewis the lead back. 3-pointer, Catherine Schmidt. She's got 16 points. And the Flyers have a 1-point edge. Pyle on the left wing. Guarded by Schmidt. Across to C.S. Cheney. Into the corner, Justine Charlesworth. Charlesworth dribbles a couple of times and passes up top to C.S. Cheney. Into the corner, Pyle for 3. That's short. Acosta rips the rebound out of the hands of Shaunton Brown and draws the foul. Adriana Acosta doing some serious work once again today. 8 rebounds already. And a handful of them have been offensive. That sets up the inbounds play for Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Bounced into Acosta. Acosta working on Motts. Turnaround is blocked. St. Francis still looking to break that string of scorelessness. They'll try to come up with a stop here first. Motts pressured, gets it out to Schmidt. Schmidt down the baseline, gives it up to Motts, throws it high into the air and can't connect. She fell to the ground looking for a foul, did not get the call. 1-point deficit for St. Francis with the basketball. It's Kaylin C.S. Cheney working around a screen from Acosta. Passes off to Charlesworth. 3-point attempt. Not this time for Justine Charlesworth. Rebound to Catherine Schmidt. Harrison on the right wing. Bounces once to her left. Lobbed inside for Schmidt. Catherine Schmidt working against a double team. Gets herself back to the free throw line. Foul on Amari Sims. And Schmidt, who's 3 of 4 from the line, will get 2 more attempts right here. 29-28. Lewis has scored the game's last 6 points. That after St. Francis had scored 14 in a row. Biggest lead of the game for the Flyers has been 10. For the Saints, it's been 5. The Flyers have led almost the whole way. And they try to extend that lead right now. Schmidt's first free throw is on the mark. One more coming. Got them both this time around. And Lewis extends the lead back to 3. 31-28. Saints over 3.5 minutes now without scoring. And Kalen C.S. Cheney throws it away, intercepted by Lewis, so that streak continues. Jumper for Hilber is good. What a streaky game this has been. Lewis couldn't miss early on. They went ice cold, went 8 minutes without scoring. Meanwhile, St. Francis was making everything, and now the Saints can't buy a bucket, and Lewis, once again, is hitting everything they throw up there. 5-point lead for the Flyers thanks to a 10-0 run. Here comes Kalen C.S. Cheney working against Hilber. Penetrates and kicks it out to Bolton. 3-point attempt, no good. And on the rebound, we've got a foul. And this goes against Amelia Motz of Lewis. St. Francis is going to get the ball back. Fighting Saints struggling from the outside. Justine Charlesworth is 2 of 3 on 3-pointers. The rest of the team is 0 of 6. Good look just now from Georgia Bolton, but she could not get St. Francis back on the board. Layup attempt misses from Acosta. Offensive rebound, no. From Kalen C.S. Cheney, Acosta tries to grab another one, and she's fouled, so this will send her to the free throw line. 15 foul on Lewis. The Saints are in the bonus. And for a team that's gone over 4 minutes without a field goal, getting to the free throw line is huge for St. Francis as they try to finally get back on the board. But Acosta misses on the first free throw. So that'll prevent her from pulling within one possession here with a minute to play in the first half. She can make it a 4-point game right here. But she doesn't. Misses them both. And Lewis retains a 5-point lead. There's a lid on the St. Francis rim right now. Good ball movement, finding a wide open shooter. Schmidt drains the 3, and the lead is back up to 8 for the Flyers. Catherine Schmidt hits on her second 3-pointer of the game. She's got 21 points now for Lewis. She's also grabbed 5 rebounds for the Flyers so far. What a start today for Catherine Schmidt. Kalen C.S. Cheney running the clock down to 10 on the shot clock before making her move. Acosta hands it to Charlesworth. Charlesworth squared to shoot, drives instead. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Charlesworth is stripped, and it's stolen by Grace Hilber. Shot clock is off for Lewis. Lewis went 8 minutes without scoring at one point earlier in the half. The Saints will end this half on more than a 5-minute run. Can Lewis add to their lead before the break with the clock running down? Hilber is stripped, and it's halftime. 36-28. St. Francis went on a 14-0 run to take the lead away from Lewis, but the Flyers end the half with a run of 13 straight points of their own. So over the quarter, we did not see the teams trade baskets once. Started with 14 straight for the Saints, ended with 13 straight for the Flyers. And when we start the second half, Lewis will have a 36-28 advantage. That'll do it for me for the first half. Back in about 15 minutes with some first half stats and ready for second half action. Stick around. More basketball coming your way here on the USF Sports Network. It's halftime here at the Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis, but we're just about set to start the second half. Terry Bonadonna with you for another 20 minutes of basketball, as are the St. Francis Fighting Saints and the Lewis Flyers. So we take a look at some of the first half stats, with Lewis leading by 8 points. A very streaky first half. Lewis started out 20-10. They had their biggest lead of the game at 10 points. St. Francis then trailing by 9, went on a 14-0 run to take the lead for themselves, and then they went over 5 minutes to end the half without scoring, while Lewis scored 13 consecutive points. So it's the Flyers with an 8-point lead at the break. It has been the Catherine Schmidt show largely. She's the reason that they're up top. 21 points in 19 minutes for Catherine Schmidt today. She also has a couple of steals and 5 rebounds, 7 of 11 from the field for Schmidt. Andriana Acosta leads the way for St. Francis, 10 points, 9 rebounds for her in 16 minutes played. So Acosta's been very good, but the Saints have struggled to shoot from the outside. Justine Charlesworth, 2 of 3 on three-pointers. The rest of the team has gone 0 for 6. They've been fortunate that Lewis has likewise struggled to shoot the three. Catherine Schmidt is 2 for 3. The rest of the team 1 for 7. So we'll see if the shooting picks up a little bit in the second half. The Saints as a team shot 39% from the field in the first half. And again, they went over 5 minutes without scoring to end that second quarter. They do, though, get the first crack at it in the second half. As we are underway, Jordan Pyle flips it outside to Kaylin C.S. Cheney. C.S. Cheney back to Pyle. Pyle drives, pulls up, and knocks down the bank shot from about 8 feet out. Nice drive from Jordan Pyle. Pyle now 4 of 10 from the field. She's got 8 points. Snaps that long drop for the Saints and pulls them to within 6 points of a lead. Grace Hilber had a good first half for Lewis. She passes out to Stephanie Hart. Hart up top to Catherine Schmidt. Left side Hilber once again. Here's Shanton Brown. Brown back to Hilber. 7 to shoot. Hilber against Pyle. Gets it inside. Courier flips one up and misses. And the 10th rebound of the game goes to Andriana Acosta. Acosta's got a double-double for the 6th time this year. 10 points, 10 rebounds, and the Saints can pull within 3 or 4 on this trip down the floor, but an offensive foul called against Shadrian McDaniel as Grace Hilber stood in there and took the contact. That's the 8th turnover of the game for St. Francis. The Flyers have turned it over just 3 times. Here's Schmidt getting her first touch of the second half. Out to Courier. Jumper from the elbow is good. Lily Courier has her first field goal of the game. Courier came into play today, averaging 14.5 points per game. Very quiet in this one, as Schmidt has done all the heavy lifting. But Courier is on the board. Now it's Pyle for 3. That's an air ball. And the rebound goes to Shanton Brown. The Saints continue to struggle from the outside. Jordan Pyle now 0 of 4 on three-point attempts. Hilber trying to answer with a 3. That misses off the rim, and the rebound goes to Charlesworth. Kaylin C.S. Cheney back to Justine Charlesworth. She fakes the shot, drives, kicks it out to Pyle. Pyle does not try the 3 this time. Instead, she puts it on the floor and passes back outside. McDaniel drives, no good, high off the backboard. Rebound number 6 for Catherine Schmidt. Just over 2 minutes into the half, each team has scored 2 points. Jumper for Hilber is good, and Lewis matches their largest lead of the game, up by 10. They led 20-10. That's the last time they've had an advantage this big. Pyle drives to the right. Pyle working against Schmidt, fighting hard for positioning inside. To her left, lays it in. Timeout, John McGinty. Nice move by Jordan Pyle. Working hard against Schmidt. And finally, Pyle is able to get it in. 10 points for her. She is the second Fighting Saint in double figures today, matching Acosta's 10 points. And the Saints are back to where they were at halftime, down by 8. St. Francis has led by as many as 5 in this game. That was at 28-23 before Lewis went on that 13-0 run. We've seen much tighter action here in the second half, back and forth. We didn't see any stretch of play in the entire first half, quite like the last 2.5 minutes. Lewis dominated out of the gate. The Saints came roaring back, and then Lewis shut them down again. over the final 5 minutes of the first half. But here in the second, we've seen the two teams each score twice from the field, 4-4. Much more evenly matched over the last few minutes as the Saints press out of the timeout. Hilber across to Hart, back to Hilber and across half court. Here's Brown up top to Hart. Schmidt on the wing. Lewis has done a good job against the Saints zone today, moving the ball around the outside. Hilber with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Fadeaway jumper from the baseline misses, and the rebound is brought in by Acosta. Number 11 for her. Here's Justine Charlesworth out to Kaylin C.S. Cheney. C.S. Cheney blocked by Hart. Acosta grabs the loose ball, kicks it out to Bolton. Jordan Pyle pulls up in the lane. Pyle lays it in. Jordan Pyle is having her way with Catherine Schmidt so far this second half. Excellent body control by Pyle, holding her pivot foot and getting great positioning inside on Schmidt. Kaylin C.S. Cheney forces a held ball. Quick hands from the senior C.S. Cheney. Possession arrow faces Lewis as they restart the possession from the sideline, leading by 6 with 22 on the shot clock. Fresh off forcing that held ball, C.S. Cheney checks out. Now Swiatek is back in. Bounce to the free throw line and Courier. Courier into Schmidt. Schmidt still looking for her first points of the second half. Bolton pressures her defensively, and she throws it away. So against the double team, Catherine Schmidt coughs it up. St. Francis gets possession back with 6:22 to play in the third quarter. Amelia Motz is back in for the Flyers as Shaunton Brown sits down for the first time this half. Swiatek handles the point guard duties with C.S. Cheney on the bench. Jordan Pyle fakes the three, works her way in, kicks it back out to Swiatek. Pyle once again in the far corner, works her way into the lane. Pyle is squeezed between Schmidt and Motz and fouled by one of them. That is Catherine Schmidt, who is whistled for the foul. Her first and the first of the half on Lewis. Swiatek inbounds to Acosta. Bounced into the post. It's Jordan Pyle working her way to the basket. Can't get the roll this time, but she tips the rebound to Bolton. Bolton finds the cutting Acosta, who lays it in. Jordan Pyle kept it alive with the offensive tip out to Bolton on the rebound. And Bolton feeds Acosta for the points. The Saints have scored 6 straight points, and they're within 4. Catherine Schmidt drives with the left hand. Schmidt floats it up and misses it short. Offensive rebound. Courier scores and a foul. Big bucket right there for Lewis. The Saints have kept Schmidt in check so far in this second half. She hasn't scored yet. Forced one up right there and couldn't hit it. But the air ball actually served a good purpose for Lewis. Kept it alive for Courier. And Courier makes it a 3-point play. That snaps that 6-0 St. Francis run. Lily Courier, who did not score in the first half, now has 5 points in the third quarter. She has picked up where Schmidt left off. Acosta works against Motz. Andriana Acosta up with the right hand. Back iron, no good. Rebound to Schmidt. Catherine Schmidt takes it herself. Across half court, over to Motz, and Motz slows things down. Schmidt at the top of the key. Walks to the right, hands it off to Lily Courier. Over to Motz on the right. Motz guarded by Georgia Bolton. Catherine Schmidt, wide open three, got it. And the 6-0 St. Francis run is matched with 6 in a row by Lewis. The third three-pointer made today by Catherine Schmidt, who now has 24 points. Georgia Bolton dribbles to the right. Bolton fading away, throws up a wild shot and misses off the glass. The rebound to Lewis. Lewis already has their biggest lead of the game at 10 points, trying to extend it right here with the ball in the hands of Grace Hilber. Hilber walks to the left and hands it to Courier. Back out to Schmidt. Schmidt with 24 points in the game, guarded by Charlesworth, hands it to Motz. Motz out to Courier, straight through her hands and out of bounds. The Saints catch a break. An unforced turnover committed by Lewis. And St. Francis gets the ball back as Lily Courier sits down. And Tara Galuza checks back in. Saints need some points here. They've gone cold after cutting it to 40-36. Drive from McDaniel and a layup for Shadrian McDaniel. Great drive from the senior right there. Hilbert tries to answer quickly on the other end. Way too hard off the glass, and the rebound is knocked out of bounds by Schmidt. Shadrian McDaniel's layup on a very strong drive pulls the Saints back to within 8 points, snapping that 6-0 run for Lewis. Kaylee Ford in the game for the Fighting Saints, by the way. Acosta is grabbing a rest. Kaylin C.S. Cheney passes off to Shadrian McDaniel, who takes it along the baseline. Turnaround, McDaniel can't make it 2 straight buckets. Kaylee Ford tries to rip the ball out of the hands of Catherine Schmidt, but Schmidt holds on just long enough to force the held ball. Possession to St. Francis here. Nice effort by Ford. Lindsey Harrison is back in off the Lewis bench. Kaylin C.S. Cheney inbounds to Jordan Pyle. Pyle walks to the right, picks up her dribble, and fires it up top to Shadrian McDaniel. With 12 to shoot, it's Justine Charlesworth. Charlesworth has not had much space to shoot lately. Shadrian McDaniel drives, dishes down low to Ford, knocked out of bounds with 3 on the shot clock for the Fighting Saints. Acosta back in for Ford. Nice work in about a minute on the floor for Ford, giving Acosta a rest. C.S. Cheney bounces into Acosta, who's fouled. With just 2 on the shot clock, the Saints get a break. Not a shooting foul, but they get the shot clock reset to 20. And they'll inbound it again here. Kaylin C.S. Cheney will do the honors. Lobbed in for Acosta, who passes immediately to Jordan Pyle. Shadrian McDaniel on the left side. Takes a couple of dribbles before bouncing it into the post. Acosta. She turns to face the basket. Now backing in again on Motts. Turnaround jumper. Doesn't get the roll. Comes up just short. Saints trail by 8. Lewis has the ball back, trying to extend that advantage. Hilbert on the outside. Passes to her right. This is Stephanie Hart. Back to Grace Hilbert. Top of the key, it's Amelia Motts. Motts working against Charlesworth. Pull-up jumper, misses short. A rebound to Acosta. Both teams struggling to get into an offensive rhythm right now as C.S. Cheney finds McDaniel on the outside. McDaniel drives from the left wing, misses on the drive, but she gets herself to the free throw line as a foul is called on Lewis. Shadrian McDaniel's had a couple of nice moves to the hoop here in this third quarter. Now she gets her first free throw attempts of the game. Shadrian McDaniel, 4 points on the night. She's had to work hard for those 4. Not a great shooting night for McDaniel. They have been tough shots. Credit to Lewis. They've played excellent defense throughout this game. They have not made anything easy for the Fighting Saints. Saints shooting just 39% from the field for the moment. And on that first free throw, McDaniel makes them 3 of 5 from the line. One more shot here. McDaniel's got them both. She checks out. Amari Sims comes in. 6-point game. Saints are keeping things interesting. They led ever so briefly in the first half. For the most part, they've been chasing Lewis in this game, and though Lewis has had the lead just about the whole way, they have not been able to pull ahead by more than 10 points. Every time it's gone to 10, the Saints have made a run. Harrison travels. Tried to come to a sudden stop in the lane, but she dragged that back foot. And it's a Lewis turnover. Their 6th of the game. 3 of them have come since halftime. Amari Sims inbounds to Kaylin C.S. Cheney against the press. C.S. Cheney nearly ran right into Lindsey Harrison, but didn't give up the ball. Amari Sims dribbles to the right. Sims drives, pulls up, passes outside. C.S. Cheney on the left wing. Crosses over, gets into the paint. Pass deflected out of bounds by Harrison. 13 on the shot clock. St. Francis will inbound from the baseline. Lobbed in for Acosta. She hands to Charlesworth. She wanted the 3, but Harrison closed in a little bit too quickly. Amari Sims with 5 to shoot. At the free throw line, kicks out to Charlesworth. Deep 3 misses. Acosta offensive rebound, up and in. Charlesworth had to take the shot with the shot clock running down. Not a great attempt from her in desperation, but it worked out like a pass. The rim just deadened that ball, and Acosta was in perfect position for the rebound and put back. 4-point game with 90 seconds to play in the third. Harrison's jumper cannot add to the Lewis lead as she misses it short. Kaylin C.S. Cheney takes it the other way. C.S. Cheney weaves through the defense and lays it in. Great drive, Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Timeout called by Lewis. 1:14 to play in the third quarter. We've got a 2-point game here, 46-44. The Flyers on top, and how about the work of Kaylin C.S. Cheney right there? Just a brilliant drive. Blowing past a couple of defenders and laying it in for C.S. Cheney. 4 points in the game now, but she's been more impressive in other ways. 5 rebounds to go along with a steal and an assist. She's been very active defensively in this game. Andriana Acosta has led the way for the Fighting Saints. 14 points, 14 rebounds for the senior. This game today, I believe, is officially an exhibition game and will not count in the overall stats for Andriana Acosta because it is an NAIA versus Division II team. Acosta entered play today with 992 career rebounds. So exhibition contest and all, but she has unofficially gone over 1,000 rebounds for her career. And she is St. Francis's leading scorer tonight too. Jordan Pyle right behind her with 12 points. It's been an interesting game for sure. The Saints have had to work hard for these points because Lewis hasn't been giving them anything from the outside, and every time they have gotten a good look, they've not been able to hit it. St. Francis just 2 of 11 from beyond the 3-point arc. So a lot of work being done inside. The Saints have outscored Lewis in the paint 24-10. And as a result, it's just a 2-point game despite their outside shooting woes. Lewis will try to extend the advantage as they get it across half court and immediately break out of the trap as well. Schmidt in the corner, 3-pointer misses, offensive rebound Hilber. Grace Silber is fouled on the floor. Before she was able to get that shot up, a reach-in foul called, just the third on St. Francis with 61 seconds to play in the quarter. Short rest for Acosta. Georgia Bolton checks out as Acosta returns to the floor. Here's Schmidt against Jordan Pyle. Schmidt quiet lately, just 3 points since halftime. 3-pointer for Hart is no good. Rebound tipped by Acosta into the hands of Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Saints can tie or take the lead on this possession. C.S. Cheney out to Pyle. Jordan Pyle drives, picks up her dribble, finds C.S. Cheney, open look from the outside. Saints miss again on a 3-point attempt. Nothing falling from the outside right now. C.S. Cheney, not a real high percentage shooter to begin with. She is just 8 of 34 on 3-point attempts on the season. Lewis retains their lead with 20 seconds to play in the quarter. Here's Schmidt. Dribbling in with the left hand, finds Shaunton Brown, 3-point attempt. Rims out, rebound Acosta, number 15 of the night. With 9 seconds to play in the quarter, the Saints can get one last shot here. Justine Charlesworth to C.S. Cheney. Pull-up jumper from 2-point range. Does not bank in. Rebound of Grace Silber, and the quarter comes to a close. The Saints did some work in the third quarter. Down by 8 at halftime. They were able to cut that deficit down to 2. Lewis has had the lead almost the whole way here, but just have not been able to create any distance. And we've got a good one going here. Looks like it may go down to the wire. Lewis 46. St. Francis 44, and in the battle of star bigs, Andriana Acosta has taken an advantage on Catherine Schmidt. Schmidt was just outstanding that whole first half. 21 points in the first half of the game tonight. She scored only 3 in the third quarter. She's got 24 points, 7 rebounds, a couple of steals now in the game. Andriana Acosta not quite with her in terms of scoring. He's got 14 on 6 of 12 from the field, but 15 rebounds now for Acosta. And that's one of the prime things that have kept the Saints in this game. Despite being smaller in size, St. Francis has controlled the glass tonight. 32 rebounds to 25 for Lewis. Lewis is a bigger team than St. Francis, but the Saints have a +5 rebounding differential on the season. The Flyers are -6. And that comes in Division II play, and the teams tend to be bigger at that level. So the size advantage that Lewis enjoys here against this NAIA St. Francis squad is certainly bigger than they get in most of their games, but they haven't been able to take advantage of it. So Amelia Motz in the post, kicks it outside. Hart for 3, short. I've talked a lot about the Saints shooting woes from three-point range today. Flyers haven't been much better. They're at 25% from three-point range, just 4 of 16. Saints are 2 of 12. Kaylin C.S. Cheney tries to get it outside, deflected by Schmidt, and nearly into the basket. C.S. Cheney keeps it alive, and she steps on the baseline on the drive. Turnover committed by St. Francis, trailing 46-44, 9:24 to play in the game. Both teams have gone cold lately. It has not been a banner shooting night. Both sides are under 40% for the game. It has been a very tough defensive matchup. Hilber misses on the 3. And the rebound goes to Acosta, number 16. Jordan Pyle on the right wing. Dribbles into the paint. Guarded by Hart all the way, and Hart with some good defense forces Pyle to dribble it out of bounds. So Pyle turns it over. Swiatek back in for the Fighting Saints. Over a minute into the quarter. Neither team has scored yet. Lewis hasn't scored in a while. Their last field goal was over 6 minutes ago. It's not their longest drive of the game. Motz is fouled by McDaniel. The Flyers went 8 minutes in the first half without scoring, during which time St. Francis went on a 14-0 run, turned a 9-point deficit into a 5-point lead. That's the only lead that the Saints have had all day, and it didn't last long because Lewis responded with 13 straight points heading into halftime before the Saints finally got back on the board in their first possession of the second half. And the second half's been back and forth. Lewis has not given up the lead. They've been up by as many as 10. They were up by 8 at halftime. Saints have cut it to 2, but we haven't seen either team score now in over 3 minutes. A little bit under 3 minutes was the last time we saw somebody score a basket. Schmidt might try to change that right here. She gives it to Courier. Now over on the left side, Hart, a very good shooter, not given any space by Charlesworth there. Here's Schmidt. Schmidt working on Pyle, picks up her dribble, 5 to shoot. 3-pointer for Lily Courier, banks it in. Sometimes when neither team is shooting well, it takes something like that to get off the schneid. An ugly shot from Courier, but she's able to use the benefit of the backboard and get it to go. So Courier has 7 points now, or 8 points rather, as Jordan Pyle misses on the runner. And Lewis grabs the rebound. Here's Hilber for 3. No good. Offensive rebound, Motz. Motz stripped by Pyle. I'm not sure what the call is here. I think an inadvertent whistle. Looked like they were going to call a foul on Pyle, but the official immediately recognized that was not the call he wanted to make, so the possession arrow faces St. Francis, which makes it Saints ball with 8 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Officials will get together to make sure they've got the right call here. I guess there is no right call on an inadvertent whistle. Something that the referee has to acknowledge that he's made a mistake, which he did. Both teams just have to play on. Matt Nelson, the rookie head coach of Lewis, obviously not happy about that one, but nothing we can do about it now. Possession arrow faces the Saints. Here's Kaylin C.S. Cheney. Passing off to Georgia Bolton. Acosta to Justine Charlesworth. Charlesworth up top to C.S. Cheney. C.S. Cheney steps back for three. No good. And Acosta is called for the rebound on the foul. They did not flip the possession arrow, by the way, so I realized what Matt Nelson was upset about. It was the fact that on the inadvertent whistle, the ruling was that the Saints had gotten a clean strip, so that's why they got possession away. So possession arrow still faces the home team right now, though the score does not. They trail by 5. Catherine Schmidt passes out to Lily Courier. Hand off to Hart. Hilber now. Dribbles in with the right hand. Hilber works her way into the paint. Hilber fade away over Bolton. No good. Acosta saves it to C.S. Cheney. Nice stop by the Saints, and now they've got to get back on the scoreboard. It's been 4.5 minutes since they've last gotten points up there. Georgia Bolton to the free throw line. Jordan Pyle, one dribble out to Bolton. Corner three for Bolton is good. Finally, the Saints hit from the outside, and they are back within 2. Georgia Bolton scores for the first time tonight. 49-47, Lewis with the ball. Schmidt into the cutting Hart. Hart comes up short thanks to the defensive pressure from Georgia Bolton. Saints looking for the tie or the lead on this trip down the floor. It's Bolton pulling up, looking for help. Bolton bounces outside to Charlesworth. Half the shot clock used up here as Jordan Pyle gets inside the three-point arc. Back out to Bolton, crossover to the right side. Bolton blocked by Hart. Loose ball secured by Acosta. Jordan Pyle, wide open three, in and out. Acosta tips the rebound but called for the foul in the process. So the loose ball foul on Adriana Acosta sends it the other way. Well, it's hard to complain because Lewis has had just as much trouble shooting. But I know if the Saints do end up losing this game, John McGinty will be able to look back to some of these open three-pointers that have been missed. Hard to be upset about it. As a coach, they're not getting bad shots. They're just not falling for the Saints right now. 3 of 15 from three-point range so far in the game. They're shooting 37% overall. And so is Lewis, 37% on the game for the Flyers today. And we've got a low-scoring contest, a defensive stalemate. And it's been a fun game to watch tonight, even though it's been kind of weird. All these runs for both teams. I can't recall seeing a game that had so many long scoring droughts for teams that have stayed in the game. Lewis went 8 minutes at one point. They went 6 minutes another time. Saints just snapped what had been a 4+ minute scoring drought. And despite all these long stretches without any points, neither team has been able to pull away. Lewis has led almost the whole game. Up by as many as 10 on numerous occasions. But they have not been able to build the lead any bigger than that as Kaylin C.S. Cheney is called for the foul. And this could be a factor here in the fourth quarter. The Saints have hit their foul limit, so Lewis will get free throws from here on out. The Flyers have not committed a foul yet in this fourth quarter. So free throws certainly could be a factor, and the Flyers are a great foul shooting team. Hart hands it off to Brown. Lobbed into Motts. Amelia Motts back out to Stephanie Hart. A little bit too strong on the three. And the rebound tipped into the hands of Jordan Pyle. Charlesworth walks into a three for the lead. Can't connect. Rebound to Grace Hilber. So the three-point woes have now even started to affect Charlesworth, who's missed her last 3 attempts from the outside. And Adriana Acosta is called for a foul as Motts drives to the basket. Motts to the line now. That's number 2 on Acosta. Motts will get 2 shots here. Amelia Motts, 71% from the line for the season. Makes the first. Shadrian McDaniel's got 4 fouls. McDaniel getting set to check in. She's at the scorer's table. Both free throws are good. McDaniel comes in for Charlesworth. Saints trail by 4. They had a chance to take the lead on the last possession. Justine Charlesworth missed on the three-pointer, so now they'll just try to get back to within one score here. Foul away from the ball. I think Motts grabbed at the cutting Andriana Acosta there. So Acosta forces the foul. First of the quarter on Lewis. The third on Amelia Motts. Shot clock resets to 20. The Saints will inbound from the baseline. Kaylin C.S. Cheney gets it in to Jordan Pyle. Pyle drives, now backs in. Working against Hart, and Hart is called for the foul as Pyle tries to get the shot up. Great defense that whole possession from Stephanie Hart, but Jordan Pyle worked just a little bit harder getting herself to the rim and getting hit across the arm. So Pyle to the line. Jordan Pyle, 12 of 15 on free throws this year. Makes the first one this time. So it is a one-possession game again. 51-48, 5 minutes to play. Pyle goes 2 for 2. 51-49, Saints look to trap here. Passed high into the air to Hart. Back across to Hilber. Now Motts. Motts drives on Pyle and a foul called on Jordan Pyle. Pyle seemed to have good positioning on defense, but brought her hands down at the last moment. Pyle is called for her first foul. The Flyers are in the bonus, and Motts, who hit 2 free throws just a few moments ago, is back to the line for 2 more. First free throw from Motts is good. She's 3 of 3 from the line. Motts has 5 points now in the game. Big second shot right here. She makes them both again. Clutch free throw shooting here for Motts with under 5 minutes to play. It's a 2-score lead once again for Lewis. The two teams trade free throws. I mentioned a few minutes ago, free throws could be a big factor down the stretch, and as soon as I said it, they became a big factor as Lewis has made all of theirs in the fourth quarter. Shadrian McDaniel drives for the Fighting Saints. McDaniel backs in on Schmidt, battling for position, off the glass and in. Good work by Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel has not made a ton of plays today, but the ones she has made have been awfully impressive. Motts fires inside. Harrison misses the layup, and a rebound tipped into the hands of Pyle. St. Francis has not led in the second half. Their last lead was at 28-27. Here's Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel drives again, layup, no, but a foul. Well, Schmidt sent McDaniel to the line, but she at least did her job. If you're going to foul, make sure they don't make the basket. McDaniel not quite able to finish. She can tie the game from the line, but first Lewis wants to talk things over. Matt Nelson calls a full timeout, 4:06 to play. Nelson trying to beat Lewis's crosstown rival St. Francis for the first time. It's his first season as head coach of the Flyers. He had been an assistant over the last several years to Samantha Quigley-Smith, who is now at Southern Illinois Edwardsville. This is the first time in about a decade that these two teams have played each other, and Quigley was not a part of it. She was the head coach for St. Francis for a while, and then for Lewis for several years. Both of these coaches are in their first season. Matt Nelson, again, the longtime assistant. He assisted at several schools in the area, Benedictine, Aurora, and at Lewis the last few years, now getting his first shot as a head coach. John McGinty is in his second year as a head coach, his first at St. Francis. Last season he was an assistant on the staff at Loyola. And McGinty's side trails Nelson's side by 2 right now, but Shadrian McDaniel has a chance to change that. McDaniel at the line for 2 shots. Her first free throw attempts of the game. 80% foul shooter for the season. She makes the first one here. McDaniel actually now 3 of 3 from the line today. She did have an earlier trip to the free throw stripe. She's now 23 of 28 on free throws this year, but she misses on the second one. So Lewis remains in the lead, 53-52. They've got the ball. Schmidt hands it off to Harrison. Pass back to the right side. It's Amelia Motz. Back over to Harrison. A handoff to Hart. Lobbed into the post. Harrison working against Pyle. One dribble. Kick out to Motz. Drive. Layup. Good. Amelia Motz has come to life here in the fourth quarter. Had 2 points in the first 3 periods. She's got 6 now in the fourth. 8 points for Motz, and she gives Lewis a 3-point advantage as McDaniel's pass is deflected out of bounds by Harrison. The Saints keep it. Georgia Bolton is in for Shadrian McDaniel. Jordan Pyle gets it into Acosta. Acosta hands it right back to Pyle. Pyle drives off the backboard, no good. Battles for the rebound, but Grace Hilber is able to pull it in for Lewis. So after cutting the deficit to 1, St. Francis not able to get any closer for the moment. Lewis has extended their lead to 3, and they've got a chance to add more to it right now. Schmidt hands it to Hart. Tough shooting night for Hart, who gets it into Schmidt. Harrison back to the corner, 3-point attempt. Hilber rattles home. Big shot for Grace Hilber, and St. Francis calls timeout. 2:54 to play. It's now 58-52 Lewis. This is as big as their lead has been here in this fourth quarter. The biggest lead of the game has been 10. Several times they were up by 10, most recently at 46-36. The Saints only led very briefly for a couple of minutes in the first half, but they've been down for 32 out of the 37 minutes in this one. And they have fought and fought to come back, but just have not been able to get over the hump. Down by 2 several times. They got to within 1 a few moments ago, and in fact, Shadrian McDaniel was at the free throw line with a chance to tie the score at 53. She missed the free throw, and Lewis since then has scored 5 consecutive points. Saints at just 37% shooting today. The Flyers are at 38%, and it's been one of those games that every time you take a 2-possession lead, it feels big because points have been so difficult to come by. It has been a really hard-fought defensive ball game tonight. Both teams are working hard, and it might be the team that's got just enough left in the tank at the end who ends up winning this. Saints are a little bit short-handed. Braxton Mickens is not available tonight, so John McGinty has not dipped too deep into his bench. Mari Sims was out there for 6 minutes earlier. Swiatek for 7. Haley Ford for 3, but not a lot of action off the bench as the Saints turn it over out of the timeout. Kaylin C.S. Cheney looking in the corner for Justine Charlesworth, throws it away. Costly turnover for the Fighting Saints. That's their 11th of the game. And so now Lewis has a chance to really build up this lead. Already a 6-point game with under 3 minutes to play. Hilbert to Hart. They get past the trap, and now Hilber all alone for 3. 2 in a row for Grace Hilber. And the lead just like that is back up to 9, an 8-0 run for the Flyers. Saints need a basket right here. Georgia Bolton over to Jordan Pyle. Pyle drives, kicks it out to C.S. Cheney. 3-pointer is good. Kaylin C.S. Cheney's had a rough shooting night, but a big one right there. And the Saints are still alive. Hilber has hit back-to-back 3-pointers for Lewis. This time she passes off to Catherine Schmidt. Schmidt hands it to Harrison. Bounced back in for Schmidt. Hilber this time elects not to shoot. She puts it on the floor and draws the foul. 2 shots coming up for Grace Hilber. Hilber is one of the many great free throw shooters for Lewis. 80% this season. Under 2 minutes to play, and Hilber with the first free throw makes it a 3-score game. Second one misses short, and Jordan Pyle grabs the rebound. Good opportunity for the Saints as Lewis manages just 1 point on that possession. Here's Kalen C.S. Cheney circling the basket, kicking it out to Jordan Pyle. Now Shadrian McDaniel back to C.S. Cheney. She drives, pulls up in the lane, kicks it back outside. Bounced in for Acosta against a double team, finds Pyle. Pyle drives past Harrison, layup no good. And the rebound is brought in by Catherine Schmidt, number 9 of the game for Schmidt. Schmidt's in some trouble but gets it off to Harrison. Saints need a stop right here if they want to have any chance in this game. Down by 7 with just 75 seconds left. Lewis is eating up as much time as they can. It's Schmidt just outside the three-point line. Schmidt works her way down into the corner. Guarded tightly by Acosta. 3 to shoot. Hilber stripped by C.S. Cheney. Gets it back at the buzzer. Knocks down the jumper. And that may ice it for Lewis. A great shot by Hilber with the shot clock down to 1. Charlesworth quickly on the other end. Hits on the runner. Back to 7 with 50 seconds to play. And now the Saints can't just settle for a stop. They need to force a turnover. Instead, we get a foul, and Hilber will go to the line. (64-57) Lewis. St. Francis was within 1 point just a couple of minutes ago. They missed the free throw to tie, and then the Flyers responded with 8 straight points. St. Francis has not been able to pull closer than 6 since then. Hilber missed a big free throw a moment ago. She makes the first here. And she makes them both. Saints need a quick score, and they need a steal. Kalen C.S. Cheney, 3-point attempt. No good. Rebounded by Schmidt. Catherine Schmidt has a double-double now with 24 and 10, and she's fouled. Saints fought and fought and fought from deficits all night. But now with the clock running down, Lewis seems to be putting this thing away from the free throw line. Shooting was a struggle for both teams all night, but when it really counted, Saints were unable to come up with the big buckets they needed. Grace Hilber in particular for Lewis was. Hilber hit some huge shots. Schmidt's second free throw is good. She's got 25 points. She makes just 1 of 2, but it does make it a 4-possession game. Kalen C.S. Cheney hands off to Charlesworth. Charlesworth at the free throw line, picks up her dribble, in some trouble, finds C.S. Cheney. Tight defense from Lewis. C.S. Cheney a leaner, no good, but she's fouled. 21.8 on the clock. Kalen C.S. Cheney goes to the free throw line. Amari Sims and Georgia Bolton head back in. Charlesworth and McDaniel sit out. C.S. Cheney makes the first free throw. Second shot from the senior is no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Lewis. So the Saints are still clinging on to a little bit of hope here. Charlesworth and McDaniel both come back in. They had checked out for defensive purposes, but the defensive possession never came up. C.S. Cheney works to get it in. Fires it out to Acosta. Here's Jordan Pyle. Pyle drives to the basket. Pyle off the glass, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds again by Lewis. But they're running seconds off the clock. That's all the Flyers really care about right now. Down to 13 seconds. C.S. Cheney bounces it into Pyle, who's fouled and scores. Well, that'll keep the flame lit for St. Francis for a little bit longer as Jordan Pyle's got a chance for a three-point play. Pyle's done some good work today, particularly in the paint. 16 points for her, now 17. It makes it a 6-point game. Inbounded to Catherine Schmidt, who's immediately trapped. 3 defenders on her, and Kaylin C.S. Cheney is called for the foul. That's number 5 on Kaylin. 9.2 seconds on the clock. C.S. Cheney is out. As soon as somebody recognizes that she's committed 5 fouls, Catherine Schmidt will get 2 free throws. Well, not making relief. Maybe we had the wrong foul count here. First free throw is good for Schmidt. That should do it. Saints still had a sliver of a chance if Schmidt had missed both free throws here, but now a 3-score game with just 9 seconds left. Schmidt misses on the second free throw. Pyle grabs the rebound. Pyle races down the floor quickly up to the 3-point line. Her shot is no good. Amari Sims grabs the rebound, but the buzzer sounds and the Saints fall to Lewis tonight by a final score of 68-61. Hard-fought battle between the Saints and the Flyers. But Lewis comes out on top thanks to some clutch shooting late in this ball game. It was a good one until the final minutes. The Saints trailed 53-52. Jadrian McDaniel was at the line with a chance to tie the score at 53. Normally a lights-out free throw shooter. She missed it on this occasion, though, and that opened the door for Lewis. Lewis ran right through that door, scoring the next 8 points and pulling away. The Saints never got closer than 6 the rest of the way. 68-61 the final. Lewis on top, 40% from the field for the Flyers. The Saints shot 38%. And I talked about it throughout the second half. Neither team could shoot consistently throughout this game. But in the end, it was Grace Hilber who knocked down a few key buckets and put this game away. She ended with 21 points. Catherine Schmidt was the star early. Schmidt had 21 points in the first half. Slowed down in the second half. Still an impressive double-double for Schmidt. 26 points, 10 rebounds. St. Francis was led by Jordan Pyle, 17 points on 7 of 21 shooting. Andriana Acosta finished with 14 points, 18 rebounds for the 6th-year senior Acosta today. The Saints, though, 4 of 19 from beyond the arc. That was their undoing. Just 21% on three-pointers. Lewis shot 32%. St. Francis out-rebounded Lewis 43-35. That was a stat we were looking at keenly coming into the game, an area where the Saints, on paper at least, had a big advantage, even though they did not have the size advantage in this game. They did utilize their strong rebounding and ended up taking 7 more shots than Lewis did in this game, but just couldn't get enough of them to go. So Lewis comes away with the victory. They beat St. Francis 68-61, but the Saints won't have too much time to dwell on this loss. They are back in action on Thursday. In fact, this was game number 1 of 3 this week for the Fighting Saints. 1 more at home on Thursday and then on the road on Saturday. So still a chance to make this a productive week, and we'll have the broadcast for you on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So hopefully you're with us for that one as well. Again, our final score, Lewis 68, St. Francis 61. That'll do it from the Sullivan Center tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next time. Have a good night.